If you're between the ages of 16 and 25, you need to hear this because nobody prepares you for the pressure and fear of making the right decision. Everyone just makes it seem as though you should have magically figured it out by now. No one ever shows you how. So in this video, I'll be going over 6 incredibly important lessons, and I'll actually throw in a 7th bonus point that wraps up everything together. So I encourage you to stick around to the end. You will not regret it. I won't hold you any longer. Let's get right into it. Number 1, the hardest truth about this age: no one is coming to save you. I know you will constantly be tempted to think that there'll be a better time, that there'll be a better situation for you to now take this risk. And so you'll think, I should wait till summer vacation. I should wait till I'm out of school. I'll wait till I get that job and have more security. But I'm here to tell you, and this truth may not sit pretty with you, but you need to hear it. It will always be harder. You will always have more excuses. You will always have bigger fears. There will always be a bigger risk. There will always be more of this anxiety built up in you. I need to get to you right now this thought that urgency is the key here. And I don't say that to cause you this guilt or this shame, but I say it because if you don't hear it from me now, I guarantee there's no magical thing that's going to happen to you when you're 30 something to say, you know what, today is the day, after you've shown yourself for 35 years by then that this is the behavior that you're okay with. This moment, this age that you're in is actually a prime opportunity for you to make a difference in your life and to start on this new trek of yours. And the reason why so many people tend to passively procrastinate here in this age group is because they want to be like everyone else. They want to fit in. They want to be popular. I'm saying that because I literally had that exact same experience. I used to even pray, and I'm being dead serious here, when I went into high school, that I wanted to be popular. I prayed about that. That's how desperately I wanted to be popular. And that bit me in the butt, because if you try to continuously be like everyone else, you're going to literally be like everyone else. And if you're trying to say that you're going to be extraordinary and have these incredible achievements, do you think that they're going to magically fall into your lap as you do at what everyone else is doing? No, you have to start behaving differently. You need to have different standards. And then this next point, we'll talk about different habits, but this needs to be a fundamental decision that you're going to make. And if you're here to this point of the video, I actually challenge you to stick around. I challenge you to finish out this video. If you can't even do that, that's probably a good indicator that this isn't as important to you as you really think it is. Number 2, the habits that will make or break you are in between this idea of discipline versus motivation. If you're somebody that constantly needs to feel inspired to do something, you constantly need to have this sensation that says, yeah, this is the time, this is the end. Like, you know those 3 a.m. feelings where you're like, this is the day that I'm going to completely change my life, and then the next morning you feel horrible and you're like, yeah, why did I even do that? And you go back to your old habits. If you are that type of person, you will always lose, because the majority of life are the lows. And I actually feel that even in the greatest moments of your life, you can always be assured that there's going to be a hardship that follows it, right? And I know that there's this saying of, if you find the work that you love, it won't feel like work. And I can't disagree with that more. I get to wake up every single morning and pursue this business of Creator College. And we have now done $1 million in our first 4 months, and it feels incredible. But at the same breath, every single day, there's hardship. Every single day, there are challenges. There are things that make me feel like I'm going out of my comfort zone. It is 1:14 a.m. and I'm making this YouTube video because I just had a 19-hour workday, and I know that I have to get this video out. That's what it takes. It takes what it takes, right? And you need to be okay with that level of discipline in your life if you're going to do an extraordinary achievement. So what I need you to recognize is that every single hardship, every single moment that you get up and you're sitting in the corner of your bed and you're wondering, why am I doing this? And it's really challenging. You're tempted to just take a nap, or you're tempted to watch Netflix, or you're tempted to just kind of just not do anything in this moment and just wait for it to go away. I actually challenge you to full face it on. Just embrace it, to be like, you know what, if I can actually create the new standard here to treat this type of pain like it's something that I can overcome and that I'm excited about, so that I know that my growth is going to come out of this. Therefore, I'm going to do this and give it my best effort. If you can start treating hardship like that, you will win. That's discipline. So discipline is also going to require you to cultivate an an environment that's conducive to your success. And that means digitally, you need to be organized. You can't be addicted to your phone. That also means, let's say in your physical environment, you need to be ensuring that it's set up, that your house, your home, your bed is clean, that you have an opportunity to maximize your success. If it's because you want to start running and training, then you have your training shoes out. Those are environmental physical cues, but there's also relationship cues. If you're constantly surrounded by people that are tempting you to fall into bad habits, you're going to lose. So in all three of those ways, if you can craft an environment that's conducive to your success and treat discipline like the priority, I think that's how you win in the long term. Now, before we move on to the next point, for the first 2 hours as this video goes live, I will be in the comments responding to every single person. Again, it's been really cool the last month and a half as I've been doing this to engage with you. It's been awesome actually to see some people that are recurring. So I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Please leave me a comment that tells me which one of these 7 points were extremely relevant to you. Maybe you've had an experience with it, and please share that. And I'd love to get back to you. Now, with that being said, let's get into the rest of this video. 3, you must stop comparing yourself to others. You have to realize if you are keeping your eyes peeled on what everyone else is doing, you will always feel inadequate. You will always feel as though you could be more popular, more successful, more athletic, more smart. And when you're in that experience, it is exhausting. But if you can, interestingly, just focus on your own path and realize that the competition is actually with yourself, the ability to get better from the person that you were yesterday, in the long run, you actually end up beating everyone else. And why I say that is because everyone else is comparing themselves to each other, so they're going to be constantly burnt out. I know that sounds crazy, it's like this weird paradox, but it happens. If you can keep your eyes peeled to it as you grow older, you'll start to recognize all those individuals that are constantly comparing themselves, trying to prove themselves to everyone else. Those are the people that tend to burn out. The people that are focused on doing their own thing, the people that don't care about the noise, the people that don't just jump for every single eye candy and thinking like, they're doing it, so I need to do it. But instead they're like, I'm going to stay in my own lane. I know exactly what I'm good at. I know exactly what I'm sure of. And while everyone else is jumping ship because they can't stick to something, I'm going to stay committed to my lane. And I'm only going to use my own past self as the barometer to say, you know what, if I'm pursuing something a little bit better, a little bit bigger today, then I'm on the right track. That type of person, again, is the type of individual that ultimately ends up winning and is in their businesses, in their relationships, in their personal lives, in their spiritual walks. Like, those are the people that actually can continuously have longevity, can continuously feel as though it's not this race that ultimately wins just because you've had this one achievement. It's like this pursuit of life. It's our purpose. It's the ability to continuously craft a new goal, but in the same breath feel fulfilled in that experience. I think it's when you can actually realize you're not in competition with anyone else. It's just you versus you. Number 4, delay gratification. In this world that we live in the digital age, where everything feels as though we need an immediate dopamine hit, if you can be the type of individual to always make a decision that's best served on where your future self will be placed, I think you'll always make the right decision. And let me explain. So when I was in school and I was getting both my bachelor's and master's in biomedical engineering, I actually made my first $1 million in my business. And it would have been so easy to drop out of my master's because it was so difficult and I was literally not sleeping. I was exhausted. I was stressed out all the time. And I was still posting content every single day too. And I had to sit there and I literally made this very long, deliberative process where I went and spoke to my parents about this, and I didn't know what the right decision was. But in that, I had to really, really ponder about all of my missions in life. And it all boils down to this thought process behind, you have to suffer in the now. You do, and if you can make a decision that best serves you in the future, it's usually the right one. So I knew that I would be better off if I had both my bachelor's and master's in biomedical engineering. I knew the reason why I didn't want to do it was because it was actually hard, and I knew that if I was to be brutally honest with myself, I was running away from that pain, that stress, that turmoil, and I thought that if I pursued something else, that it would make me more money. But it was all short-term thinking, and now I'm so blessed that I actually made that decision. I feel so much more fulfilled in that. But that's how I view life. If you can always craft a decision based on the fact that it's not just the now that you have to wait for, it's that future. And if you can continuously put your future self in the right position for success, you will live a better life. And that's been the case ever since I was just initiating this journey 7 years ago when I started my 4-win model, when I did my mental win, physical win, spiritual win, accountability win. Literally the entire premise of that is to build discipline in a way that sets you up well for the future. So yes, every single day I spend 90 minutes doing that, right, for the most part. And now if that is the case, you can guarantee that I'm mostly not wanting to do that, right? Like most days are really hard, but it's with the idea that it's going to continuously put my future self in a better place, and that's never once failed me. Number 5, the power of saying no cannot be overstated. And I'm going to repeat that. The power of saying no cannot be overstated. It is so incredibly important because every single no is a deeper yes to what you really want. If you're constantly falling into peer pressure, and because your friends are saying, oh, you should just go out with us, you should just party with us, what's the like, why are you such all of those things that make you feel like you're being an outcast are usually the things that actually will set you up to be different in the future. Again, that's probably the goal, to be extraordinary, to do some really cool things in life, but that's what it takes. And I've seen this so much, and I say this because I wish somebody would have told me this when I was at the age of 19, 20, when everyone was judging me for the decisions that I was making for on Friday nights not going out, because I knew that going out didn't just mean that I was spending Friday night out. It meant that Saturday morning I'd wake up feeling horrible, right? It would mean that I didn't get enough sleep on my Saturday, which means that I wouldn't get my work done till later on Saturday, which also means that my Sunday is impacted, right? And that would mean that my Monday didn't start off on the right footing. I could see that, and I took that seriously, but I couldn't explain that to anyone without getting this side eye from people and thinking that I'm crazy or I'm taking life too seriously. But those are the same people that are in jobs that they hate right now. Those are the same people that literally, and I'm being so serious right now, I just got like 4 messages in the last 3 days from people in my college years that I can count exactly the moments that they had said things like this, where they're passive aggressive, and they literally messaged me either for a job or to help them start their businesses. I wish more people would wake up to the fact that if you're going to be like everyone else, it's going to cost you at a certain point in time if your goal is to be extraordinary. And you've been watching up to this point in time, so I'm assuming that that's your goal. When I speak to you in this moment, I want you to realize that the power of saying no is so fundamental and core to your own values. If you don't stick up for anything, you will literally fall for everything. If you can be somebody that's so clear on their mission, and granted, your mission can evolve, like it can, you can change as a person, that's okay. Your values can change, but you need to have values. Like you need to have a goal, and I really encourage you to actually prioritize this. Number 6, build systems, not just goals. What I often find is that people are really good at making these macro goals. Everyone can say, I want to gain 20 pounds of muscle, or I want to lose 20 pounds of fat, or I want to finish at the top of my class, or I want to go ahead and be the biggest content creator, or I want to start my successful business, or I want to be my family's first millionaire. Those are all really easy to say. The reason why most people fail is because they stop there. The macro goal is fine to have. It's okay to have this overarching mission in mind, but simultaneously you need to take the time to reverse engineer it. But that's just step 2. The third step is to actually systematize your progress. So that means, how are you showing up on a daily basis? And everything that I do is predicated on these systems because it takes the emotion out of it. It also allows you to plug and play. So I'll explain. I wrote a book called The Learning System right there, which is literally a step-by-step 4-stage system that allows you to actually maximize the amount of information that you're learning and the depth of comprehension. And then I built a content system that now helps tens of thousands of creators all over the world. And that's what I went to Tokyo, Japan to be a finalist judge for in the Red Bull competition. And when I was there, I was talking about my content system. It's a system that allows me to show up every single day and post content for the last 5.5 years, and has allowed me to build $1 million creator businesses. When I look at a system now for building Creator College, which is my newest business venture that it has been incredibly successful, we've generated $1 million in our first 4 months, is that now we are building systems internally so that we can continuously scale our success. Everything should be predicated on systems, and the way that you can develop these systems are really easy, right? So first of all, you're going to need quite a lot of trial and error, because the idea of you trying to input something and then see how it works and then see the output result in and then continuously fix up that system is how you build a good system. So for example, when I was thinking about content creation as my system, what I would do is I would try out quite a lot of different strategies. So those are quote unquote inputs, right? I put them in the system and I would see the output. Well, when I saw this one strategy of, let's say, posting only trends, and then I realized the result was, yes, good views, but less connection. When I started to realize, oh, okay, if I started to post content about my family, yes, then the result was a deeper connection with my audience. And then when I started to post, let's say, really consistently, I'm recognizing, okay, great, I'm having a lot of success in building my audience. So those are all different inputs, those are the outputs. I'm basically trying to configure this system so that it can be refined over time. That's how systems work. And now the other way that you can build a system is by learning it from someone else's. And that's why my mission here on YouTube is to teach you a lot of my productivity systems, my learning systems, my content systems, so that you can save yourself the time. So I really encourage you to not just think about your macro goal, but to systematize your success. I think that's how you win in the long term. Now, here's this bonus point that wraps everything up, and it is to really not tell everyone about these goals or systems. And I know that's weird to say because most people will think that you should let it be known. And I know that some people also say something along the lines of, if you voice it, then you'll manifest it into reality. And I have found that every single time that I've voiced a goal, it's always been faced with objection. It's always been faced with more confusion. And usually it's because my goals are so extraordinary that most people look at it and they think it's impossible to achieve. But I'm already doubting myself a lot of the times. I'm already insecure all the time, and I'm already feeling imposter syndrome. So I don't want to put this standard on myself when I don't need to, right? I don't need this external pressure. I already have enough internal drive to make it work. And so what I always say, you should work in silence and let your success make noise. And it's so incredibly important in every aspect of my life. So if I got, let's say, a really good thing going on in my life, you probably won't know about it. Like if I have really great successes, you would know some of the external ones, like the ones that are so evident, right? If it's the amount of money that we've generated, or let's say how many students we've been able to help, or let's say landing #1 on Amazon's new releases, like those things are so externalized already that you can see it. But a lot of the things that I'm working on, like I don't like to share too much of it because all of that is so intimate to me. It's like the thought process behind it. The moment I vocalize it, I lose that intimacy, and I try to then induce other people's opinions onto that, and that causes, again, more friction. We don't need more friction, we need more action. And the way that you take it is by keeping those goals intimate and actually making progress and showing that you're capable. Literally, there's nothing good that happens from this, from my experience. If you start talking about your goals aloud, either they're going to doubt you or confuse you, or they're going to set you up for a ton of failure because their expectations will be so high, and you will never be able to meet that expectation. I encourage you to continuously put your head down and work and feel like you're making progress, because that's the winning game, like the ability to actually show up and do things whether someone knows it or not. And I guarantee people will find out when you have enough of that success. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Leave that comment below. Let me know what was most relevant to you, and I'd be more than happy to respond. Give this video a thumbs up, and of course subscribe. With that being said, guys, I will see you all at the top.